Good day, Internet. This is DTNS Live for February 21st. It's Friday, and it's 2025. From Studio Animal House, I'm Sarah Lane.
From Studio 7 in Los Angeles, I'm Tom Merritt.
From Oakland, California, Studio Oakland, I'm Molly Wood.
Drawing the top tech stories in Cleveland, I'm Len Peralta.
From studio here, I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
Daily Tech News Show Live is made possible by its listeners. Thanks to all of you, including Logan Larson, Mike Akins, Norm Fazekas, and everybody welcome our new patron, Lisa.
Lisa, it's your birthday.
Oh, Lisa and everyone else, welcome to DTNS Live. This is the show where we discuss the tech news to help us all understand it a little better. Molly Wood, how the heck are you?
My friends, it has been an age. Or has it?
What I mean, okay.
We have lived
how the
many
heck are you?
lives.
Somebody said we have lived many lives since January. Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody the other day was like, January took so long that nobody noticed that February is almost over. Yeah.
True story.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the 21st, in fact.
Yeah.
I can't with
It's
that.
almost Christmas. This is how it goes.
It always entertains me that
Christmas.
like every day of the year you can go, is it today already?
Yep, and it's always true. It's never
It's
not
always true. Every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always something.
I am delighted to be back with you, though.
You know, that's a very good point, Tom. It's like when it's Monday, it's like, oh, Monday.
All
And then
right.
Tuesday, you're like, Taco Tuesday.
That's
Then
Friday
Wednesday,
already.
middle of the week.
Yeah.
Thursday,
Wow.
who even cares? And then Friday, how is it Friday?
I'm calling it now. On February 28th, we'll be like, it's February 28th already?
It's already over? I can't believe that. I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
I will tell you,
mean,
though.
is this not even a leap year?
There are certain milestones that loom, though, when the cliche about time passing occurs to you. And in this case, I was like, wait, is it almost tax day? Like, did that really happen?
Oh, girl.
I know. I'm so sorry. I really thought I was
I
like,
have to go.
going to be
Yeah, I think I
kinda
need
how I
to,
felt, too.
Yeah, get a hold of my...
felt a little sick about it, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I have to go
well-
prepare my taxes.
Me too.
We all have to prepare our taxes, and that is not fun. But what is fun are the quick hits.
Thanks to RW Nash for noting this on our subreddit. Apple released the Vision OS 2.4 developer beta for Apple Vision Pro, and that brings Apple Intelligence to the Apple Vision Pro for the first time. That means they get notification summaries, smart replies, advanced photo search, writing tools, and image generation. Also something called Spatial Gallery, a curated collection of immersive content, and an iPhone app for remote device management. The guest user mode can now also be approved from an iPhone or iPad. This update is set for an April release for everybody.
I was looking forward to hanging out with this over the weekend because I have nothing on my calendar, but I will
Nice.
do this in April.
Oh, well.
Yeah. The Securities and Exchange Commission has agreed to drop its enforcement case against Coinbase, pending commissioner approval. The case was originally filed under former SEC Chair Gary Gensler and accused Coinbase of operating an unregistered securities exchange. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong called it a huge day and expects further dismissals of similar cases.
OpenAI has banned several accounts that have been using ChatGPT to write sales pitches and debug code for a tool being developed to collect real-time data and reports about anti-China protests in Western countries. It is against OpenAI's policies to use its tools for communications surveillance. OpenAI also identified the use of its tool to create English comments attacking a Chinese dissident, as well as translating Chinese articles critical of the U.S. into Spanish, and then actually getting them published in Latin America. Those accounts were also banned.
DeepSeek announced it will open source 5 production-tested code repositories during its Open Source Week event next week. The company emphasizes community-driven innovation, pledging daily releases, and a collaborative approach over exclusivity.
The Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology in Daejeon, Microsoft, and the universities of Maryland, Washington, and Wisconsin-Madison have developed a foundation model called Magma, that uses visual and language processing to control software and robotics. Models from Google and OpenAI use separate models for perception and control to do this, but Magma integrates them into a single model. Magma's training and inference code go up on GitHub next week. Magma.
Magma. Router maker TP-Link faces a potential U.S. ban over security concerns linked to China, with multiple federal agencies investigating the company. The Wall Street Journal reported in December that the U.S. Commerce, Defense, and Justice Departments were all investigating TP-Link, but wrongdoing has not been found, at least as of this recording. TP-Link's U.S. president insists it operates independently from its China-based counterparts. Back to some OpenAI news. So the information reports that OpenAI is shifting reliance from Microsoft. You might recall that the two were kind of, best buddies back in the day, to SoftBank, with SoftBank expected to fund much of the $500 billion Stargate project and provide 75% of OpenAI's computing power by 2030. Microsoft, still a key partner, with OpenAI projected to spend $28 billion on Microsoft data centers by 2028. So the two companies definitely throwing some money around in each other's favor. OpenAI forecasts $12.5 billion in revenue for 2025. This forecast doubles to $28 billion in 2026. Still a forecast, but if true, very big. It also recently surpassed 400 million weekly ChatGPT users. The company is also expanding Operator. That's the AI agent for task automation to ChatGPT Pro users, so you got to pay for it. In several countries, including Australia, Canada, India, Japan, and the UK. But the expansion does not include the EU, and it doesn't include Switzerland, Norway, Liechtenstein, or Iceland. Operator launched in the US in January. We talked about it at the time. It's designed to handle things like you're making a booking, you're making a reservation, maybe you're trying to get help with an expense report, online shopping, that sort of thing. For those who do pay for the Pro plan, which is $200 per month, you can use it through a dedicated webpage. OpenAI says Operator will eventually be available on all ChatGPT clients. Mollywood, have you played around with Operator at all?
You're like, where do we even start with this?
I know. I
mean, there's so much. I have not played around with Operator because I am not interested in paying $200 a month to try it out. But also because I have migrated almost completely to Claude. I just don't have enough faith, frankly, in ChatGPT's privacy and ethical practices to keep using it. So I use Claude, and when and if Claude gets an awesome agent like that, I cannot wait.
Tom and I were talking before the show, $200 per month for the GPT Pro plan. I don't pay for that. I don't even pay for Plus. I just kind of, I kind of flit around with the various agents that we have at our disposal. And yeah, it's, if you're not going to pay for something, then you get that sort of like, yeah, you've used your 4 free things that you can do this week, see you on Monday type thing, which right. I'm used to. It's not unlike a paywall for a news organization. But I do think that Operator, for those who do use it, it does sound pretty promising.
Oh, for sure. And I think that the like agentic world, apparently we call it that, which is just fun to say, agentic. We're inventing a new language around this. I think the agentic world is going to be freaking awesome, right? Like, as a person who read The Diamond Age by Neil Stephenson early on, I want the young ladies primer immediately. I want the thing that is just out there on the internet acting as my behalf and giving, and frankly, that is how I use Claude right now. It's just that it's not doing these tasks for me. Now, the one thing I will say is, and I have not tried it, so please email me if I am dead wrong about this. Because these agents ultimately have to interact with websites on the other end, and we all know how broken the web is, I'm just so curious to see, like, is it gonna kind of be like when you try to log into Wi-Fi on your Kindle, or like you try to use that Rocket Money app to cancel things for you, and it's like, cool, here's the page to log in and cancel it. Like, I'm like, right. I still feel like you're gonna have to be in the loop to finish
I found these results on the web for you.
Yeah.
That happened to me literally this morning with Amazon's assistants. She
Right.
was like, "Oh, here's some stuff I found on the web. Let me read you 4 paragraphs." I'm like, "Stop."
No. Yeah.
That's not
And
what I was
I think it's
asking
just going to
for.
be like, here are the flight options, right? Which like currently I pay an assistant to do for me, a human to do. And then I still have to like come in there on the back end and say, I want this one and I want this one. And oh, here's my, oops, I forgot to put my credit card in LastPass. Like I think until the whole world, I'm excited about this potential. I am in no way trying to diss this. Like I think the agentic web is going to be freaking amazing. It's going to upend the entire advertising ecosystem. And I can't wait because that's the best thing that can happen to the web. But it until we have agents working with agents, if the barrier is the web as we know it today, I think these agents are only ever going to be able to do so much.
Well, that's
Yeah.
actually like an interesting idea, Molly. So let's say you've got an agent that you feel like you've curated, the agent works for you, and my agent works for me differently. At what point do our agents just sync up and the two of us just, have a margarita and call it a day?
100%. Like that's the dream. That's the goal. And I think that we could get there. It's just that we have this layer of firewalls and click-throughs and, do you accept the cookies? And did you do are you in fact a human? Have you clicked all the pictures of a bus? Like until we get rid of the click all the pictures of a bus layer, the agents are going to have a hard time actually accomplishing these online tasks for us. But when we get there, freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I want
and
it.
we will get there. Everybody make your own guess when, but yeah, it's hard enough for a human to navigate the web. There are times when you as a human can't actually get what you want done on the web, right? Not all the time, but it happens. So of course the agents are going to run into that as well. That the whole CAPTCHA thing is a really interesting situation because up until now, if it was an automated system, it wasn't legitimate by default.
Right.
Now it will be. How do you deal with that? How do you make it so that legitimate, like I have given this agent my authorization, please let it log into my account, can happen? And also on the other end, people manipulating agents to get into your account and create accounts and get around those CAPTCHAs for the reasons the CAPTCHAs were made. One thing that I thought about while you were talking, Molly, which I'd never thought of before, is sites optimizing for agents.
Yep.
Like we optimize for SEO right now on websites. You're going to want to optimize so that agents have an easier time if that boosts your sales usage, whatever.
Yeah. You remember when there were digital transformation strategies? Like everybody go update your LinkedIn and start calling yourself an agentic transformation strategist. Trust me on this one. You will make all the money. Wait, why am I not doing this? Why did I just come up with this idea?
Let's all 4 of us do that right now.
Let's
give
do that.
away, really good
Sometimes
advice
I don't
for
think
free.
before I talk. I just say it out loud.
Well, that's why you need to have that kind of weekend seminar that people buy tickets to, and then you can explain everything you just did.
There you go. Yes, if you would like to get this talk in a one-on-one way with more strategic implications, send me a check for $1,000 and we'll talk.
And meet me at the Best Western Ballroom.
You're the Best Western Ballroom.
Well, and we are talking about early days of this. Like, does it work really well? I mean, I'm sure somebody out there is like, yes, works really well for me, and here's how, and we would like to hear about that. But I do wonder about kind of, I don't know, the inbox zero companies. And, I use that as a loose term, like the companies that are formed around trying to make better sense of your life because you don't actually have a operator. You don't have a human operator and you don't have anything else, superhuman notion. I mean, there are a variety of companies that are designed around just trying to make sense of your life. And I wonder how these operators, which of course aren't going to be super seamless with all of these companies, but once they get better and you can do stuff, what happens to the companies that were designed to help you do stuff?
I mean, I'm already, and I have been telling my friends, I'm already like, look around the web at things that sites want you to pay for. And that could be a meal plan. That could be a diet. Like I had Claude create a 10K training plan for me. Like I was like, hey, I got 4 weeks to train for this 10K. Can you create a training plan? I recently discovered I'm eating something like 80% fewer calories than I probably should be eating, which is why I wake up in the middle of the night and need food. And so I was like, how many calories do I need? And can you create a meal plan for me? And then can you tell me which things to order, proteins to order from Good Eggs within these boundaries? And then can you create that as both a meal plan and a shopping list, and create custom plans for the days I'm doing Orange Theory versus the days that I'm not? Now, that is what a trainer does.
Yep.
For $100 an hour minimum. And so all of these things that are based on like aggregating and regurgitating information can now pretty much already be done for $15 a month.
Yeah.
On an AI system. And it's frankly, it's to the moon from
And there's
there.
always going to be somebody who's like, well, but the personal touch, you can't recreate like that wonderful trainer that Molly already has.
But that's where trainers will not be replaced by these. Only the good trainers are going to survive that can actually motivate you, right? Because that's one thing Claude can't do as well, is motivate you. So Claude does all of the tedious stuff, and then the trainer is there to just hype you up if they're really good.
The human interaction becomes like artisanal and special. But the thing, if you want me to pay for a thing at this point in the economy, if you want me to pay for a thing that is about aggregating knowledge and then packaging it, you're out of luck, bro.
Yeah.
Out of luck.
Well, you might be out of luck if you called HP's customer support from several European countries this week. You maybe not out of luck entirely, but you probably had to wait a lot longer than you expected or needed to. Tom, what happened?
HP happened. HP wanted to encourage its customers to use chat or social media for support requests. That alone is not a bad thing. In educating the audience to know, like, hey, there's other ways you can get your question answered. Maybe some of these are faster. That's a good thing. However, someone at HP had the bright idea of instituting a mandatory 15-minute wait time for callers from France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, and the UK, no matter how busy it really was. The idea being like, oh, if I'm going to wait around for 15 minutes, maybe I'll try one of these other digital things, versus what actually happened was everybody waiting 15 minutes and being a little more angry and annoyed when they finally got to a customer support person. Nobody liked it. HP staff had to deal with people who are consistently more annoyed at having to wait. Of course, the customers didn't like it. So HP has reversed course. But let's start with how ill-advised this policy was. And then I want to get into why I don't think this might be a problem in the near future. But let's let it all out about, like, really? You thought that would be a good idea, HP?
I mean, like, more than one person presumably was in a meeting about this and was like, that'll work.
What if they just wait on the phone longer? And we sell them things.
Everyone in the meeting was either too afraid to contradict that person or said, no, that's a horrible idea. And the person just didn't listen to them. But it was a bad idea. The Register probably should get more credit than they're taking, honestly, for exposing this earlier in the week. But the Register itself is like, apparently it wasn't us. People inside and outside the company were just so incensed that it caused HP to change its mind.
I mean, I'm still upset with phone trees that don't, give me the options like, your wait time is approximately 35 minutes. We can call you back.
That's nice.
Yes,
call
press
you back
1.
thing.
Call me back. Like, what? I'm not going to stay on the phone and listen to this stupid song over and over. Like, whenever I don't get that option, I'm just like, update your phone tree.
Also,
actually,
your
the other
menu
one
options have not changed.
No,
they have not changed.
For one day, that's true.
Stop
and then
telling
it's
me that.
not true for years.
They have not changed. Like, why? Oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah. Well, just I don't always believe companies like Amazon when they say like we're customer obsessed, but there are some companies out there that are in fact customer forward in their thinking. Like if you had one person in that meeting who said, how does this serve our customer?
Yeah.
But it's because, so I recently, and forgive me if
it serves our customer by educating them of our other options.
No.
No,
totally doesn't.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, sure, technically it does, but like
I mean, that's what you
there
wanted
is
the
not a
customer to
human
learn.
What you want.
that
Right.
wants that option. So
Exactly.
thank you.
I mean,
thank you for the crappy idea.
I mean, it speaks to like sort of how maybe disjointed that level of management is, because not HP, but I have been on the phone, and you often hear in between the music says, "Hey, why not try our website? You can do all these things on the website." It's like, I can't. I literally just
That's
went
why
there.
I'm calling, because I couldn't do it on the
there's-
website. I
There's
know, I
no
get that too.
option that you have provided.
Yeah.
And it's like,
or I
why-
wouldn't be calling you.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
That's actually a good point. It's like some people, sure, they just want to get somebody, on the line and explain the issue and, try to work it out with another human. But I think at this point, with all the options that, the always on the internet type people like us have, you do that as a last resort.
Yeah.
I don't want to get on the phone with somebody unless I have to. And if I have to, please don't upsell me while I'm waiting to get on the phone with somebody.
Now, my next question is all the stuff we were just talking about with agentic going to make this not be a problem? In
like,
other
this
words,
is almost over.
Well,
Multimodal
that's
systems.
the promise, right? We're
Yeah.
not there yet, but that's the idea.
But
That's
the
goal.
thing is, and like what I think Molly mentioned in the previous discussion, like if the website / service of the company that you're interacting with has a broken interface, whether it's a website or some phone tree or some other way of getting in touch, you could have the most amazing agentic AI on the planet. It's still going to run into hurdles because
why?
it's because
If it
so
has
say-
to interface with your old behind the scenes
yeah,
system.
you have to.
Oh,
you
yeah.
have
No,
to-
you have
But
to
I
get rid
think-
of the old
But I think
behind-the-scenes
this gets solved even before agents. This gets solved by, we now have borderline, like Turing test passing conversations with AI, right? Like if you have used the ChatGPT spoken interface, you know how close we are, and the Pixel and the reservation making system. We
Yep.
are actually close enough, and will be in probably another year, right? People will be able to implement AI chat-based systems. I was at a conference recently, and forgive me if I've already told this story, but they were talking about the broken economics of customer service. And that's partly why companies will do anything to discourage calls to customer service, because it is so expensive by minute, because you have to, no matter what, and you have to pay a person. And those jobs are awful. Like, I have a virtual assistant based in the Philippines who was telling me that she's trying to get all of her friends to become virtual assistants, because right now they all work in call centers, and those jobs are so terrible and abusive that they're all getting physically ill.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's awesome to work for you when you're just like, why don't you take Friday off? Because I don't really like Fridays. I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good gig. Anyway, the economics of call centers are like, let's say it costs $7 a minute for someone to call, and it's in the dollars per minute.
which is why they're doing this 15-minute
Which
delay
is
thing, right?
why
They're
they're trying to get
reduce
them-
that. Yeah, yeah.
But if you call a bot, it's like 6 cents a minute.
And the
And
customer
so-
doesn't have to wait.
And the customer doesn't have to wait, and it costs the company nothing. And you can actually, and nobody loves customers anything better than a phone call. Like, I love it when I call a company and they fix my problem. It makes me so happy. I will tell everybody in the entire world about my freaking mattress company because they solved my problem on the phone.
Well,
So if you
because
have a
it's
6
not
cents a
that
minute
common,
bot,
right?
it's
you have
totally uncommon.
You have so many other situations where it was like,
It's always
man, I
awful.
spent 3 hours at this mattress. Like, no.
And if
Like,
you're the company
hate
who
them.
implements the 6 cents per minute bot conversation, then you start saying to your customers, just call us and talk about the weather.
Yeah.
Talk
Call
as
us
long as you
anytime.
want. Call us anytime, and you freaking win. Like, that is how you win at business. You do this early, and it's cheaper, and then all of a sudden you have this option that people love, as opposed to coming up with some artificial way to basically bolt on your crappy economics.
I really want our
disrupt
customers to do
yourself.
what I want them to do is never a good way to implement a policy. Yeah. No, and I honestly think this doesn't even replace all the humans at the call center. It means you can employ directly well-trained people who want to do this, because they do exist, not people who have to do it, pay them well to handle the really complex white glove stuff, right? Your automated system now can actually answer questions. And then when it gets to a certain point, it will be, you can set it up. So it's like, let me hand you off to Pat or Kelly or whoever, who can take it from there and do the more complex stuff that the agentic system can't do yet.
100%. And they've done a bunch of research and found that people don't mind interacting with an AI as long as you tell them up front. You know, I'm an AI assistant. Like, don't pretend that you're not, but just say I'm an AI assistant, and you know, I'll do my best to help you. And then you sit there and you talk about your mom, or you know, how you really prefer a mattress.
Some of the lines have gotten blurred a little bit. Okay, so for example, I've got this new veterinarian for my dog and my cat. You know, they go to the same vet, and it's kind of like a modern vet where, you know, everything is going through the app. So if I have an issue, you know, I can make an appointment, but I can also talk to an agent. And at one point, I, you know, had a question, and the agent was just sort of like, "Hello, Sarah," and I was like, "Are you a bot?" And she was like, "No, I'm a person." And I was like, "No, I didn't mean that to be like cruel to you."
So, yeah.
But it was it was so bot-like. That
not
I was
only
like,
disclose that you're a bot, but also disclose when you're not.
I'm a person. Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
I just kind of was like, oh, if I know one versus the other, I'm gonna act differently.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
and she was like, "No, I'm a real person. You can call me at this
we're
number."
in the mushy middle. We're just in the mushy middle.
I mean, the other thing is they need to follow through with the service on the other end, right? I've interacted with bots
That's
for my
true.
for my pest control service. I keep asking, I need to change the dates, and all it gave me were the available dates. It's like none of those work.
That's because that's an old-fashioned machine learning chatbot that, you know,
Yeah.
and those are going to be around for a while, giving all the rest of the agents a bad
I mean,
name.
but like, again, the first impressions are the big ones, and companies need, if they're gonna really do this, they need to put their best foot forward, because if someone has a bad experience, it's gonna color their perception, at least for the short term, on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well,
and it will take time. There will be old, dumb phone tree type systems, you know, and old, dumb chatbots in use for a while where we are in this mushy middle. But like, this is a solvable problem. And the HPs of the world with the freaking money to do it, like, do it.
That's why they bought Humane AI. There we go. Now we know.
They're gonna do it.
Well, HP's saving the world, one phone tree at a time.
We would like you to save our show. We need ideas for things to talk about, like this one. You could post it on our subreddit. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We look at those every day. Submit stories and vote on them at reddit.com/r/Daily Tech News Show.
Apple said it will remove its Advanced Data Protection, or ADP, end-to-end encryption feature after the UK government reportedly ordered Apple to put a backdoor that would allow authorities blanket access to iCloud earlier this year. The company added some types of data, health data, messages, payment information, end-to-end encrypted by default for all users, will remain encrypted for everyone. However, UK users won't be able to use ADP end-to-end encryption for other types of data, like photos, their text documents, and backups. So, Molly, what do you think about the repercussions of this move?
So, I know what I should be
Molly.
saying here. I know exactly. I know what I should be saying.
Just a big
here.
sigh. I get it.
No, I think that totally summed it up right there.
It does, because I am conflicted on how to react to this. On the one hand, it appears what Apple is communicating to people, this reminds me of when Austin, Texas outlawed Uber. And when you opened up Uber was like, Austin won't allow us here. You should call your congressperson and tell them that you want freedom to ride however you want, right? Apple sent this messaging out to people that says, like, we are just devastated to tell you that we are no longer able to offer this. We just cannot, and you'll have to disable the security feature. And we want to protect your stuff, but now we can't because of this law. Now, I do not know if that is technically accurate. I do know that it's pretty smart to say the UK wants you, the UK government wants you to have less secure data. We tried, but we can't. So it's hard to know who has done a poor job here. I generally will say, and I think Tom, you and I have been pretty consistent on this for a lot of years, if there is a backdoor for someone, there is a backdoor for everyone. And so Apple's response here is exactly in keeping with that. If there's a backdoor, then that means your stuff is not encrypted. And so you might as well go all the way and say your stuff is not encrypted. What it gets to is the overarching question of like, should you be storing your stuff in the cloud? Was it ever going to be safe in the first place? Because you never know who's going to be in charge, who's going to make some sort of change that makes your cloud-based data less secure.
Yeah. And just to put a fine point on this, Apple is not allowed by the law to say they were asked to put a backdoor in. The law itself says we get to ask you to put in a backdoor and you can't tell anyone we did it.
Which is bonkers.
So I know you were just kind of, back of the envelope summarizing. They were very careful never to say, oh, it's because the UK government passed this law. Mm-hmm. They had to skate around that, but they heavily implied it. We are gravely disappointed that the protections provided by ADP will not be available to our customers in the UK, given the continuing rise of data breaches, et cetera, et cetera. What they also were able to not change is their government information request page, which says they have never created a backdoor or master key to any of their products and services. Mm-hmm. This is the only way that they could comply with a request like that and still be able to say that, is to say, we won't create a backdoor. You are requiring us to give you access, so we'll just not have encryption rather than create a backdoor. And
it does suck for customers. And also it is 100% consistent, right? It is Apple being 100% consistent with what they have said all along. We will never create a backdoor or a master key to any of our products and services. Yeah. And we should all appreciate that. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing that we have talked about for years with respect to data privacy, that you either have it or you don't. And you don't want to live in a world where only the cops have access to your data.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
now
I mean,
everyone does. Well, not really.
Lots of chatter about this online today. People on both sides, being like, well, Apple, isn't standing up for the people, and it's like, well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
No, this is what it looks like.
This is what it looks like.
That's what's tough about this is people are like, well, why aren't they saying that? They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to say the UK required us to put a backdoor in, so instead we have to do this. They can't make that reasoning. They have to skate around it because the law won't allow them to say that, unless they just left the market altogether, which they're not going to do.
I mean, I am in a moment of widespread corporate capitulation. I am impressed to see Apple make a move that basically says, this is, we in good conscience, this is the only move that we can make. And it involves not protecting your data, and that sucks. And we wish that were not the case, but here's the deal.
I mean, but that reputation of not doing that's the cornerstone of their entire product line, right? Certainly. If you chip away at that, then what's the point?
And they're still encrypting your transfer to iCloud. It's just they can't encrypt it on their servers anymore.
Right.
Like that's what they were doing more than what a lot of cloud providers do. They were encrypting it on the iCloud side, and you held the key. That's why ADP isn't on by default. A lot of people in the UK didn't have ADP anyway because it's not on by default. And when you turn it on, they warn you, if you lose this key, we can't recover it. That's the whole idea here.
And I agree with you, Roger. Like it is a bad spot to be in, because absolutely they have built a reputation around privacy and protecting our data. And so to have to publicly say we're not doing it, and when knowing that many, many, many consumers, maybe even most, won't dig into this nuance, right? They won't sort of be able to suss out the fact that, in fact, this was a poorly written, deeply overreaching law, that backdoors are dangerous for everyone. They are a security risk for everyone. Apple's in a tough spot. And frankly, I'm impressed that they're doing what they're doing.
Integrity Farms.
Nth Mike wants to know what would happen if Apple ignored the part of the law that says they can't say anything. They'd get fined and prosecuted. That's what would happen.
Yeah, I bet they still, it's like, yeah, sure. You can see a lot of fines coming out of the EU and the UK. Like Apple could afford the fine.
They could handle the fine.
Apple can afford to have this fight. I think what they're trying to do is the Uber thing, right? What they're trying to do is point people to the reality that it is not their decision. and
You also-
hopefully have people figure out whose decision it was.
As many people as you win over by doing that, you also lose people who are like, well, now you're breaking the law.
Right.
U.S. company breaking our UK laws. I may not like the law, but there are laws. So they probably don't want that part of
Or
it.
at
yeah,
least,
I mean,
right. They're trying to.
Apple
They're
knows-
starting here.
Yeah.
They might
Apple
go bigger.
knows that not everybody is going to be like, oh, for the people. Some people are going to be like, no, you should have, given more information to the government because that's going to make us safer.
Exactly.
There are those two arguments that are going on across the world in all sorts of different situations. But yes, Apple's saying like, hey, we can't do this. We're not going to do this. And here's, what everyone has to know about why we're not doing this is,
It's also
I applaud
very-
them for that.
It's also very much like, to your point about, to the point about, a company like the big tech company coming in and pushing our citizens around. It's also that. It's also that you have companies right now with the market size, with the, economic equivalent of countries pushing back against national rules. And so I think there are probably people, to your point, Sarah, who would be like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Let my government access this data to catch a criminal, right? We saw this whole thing with the San Bernardino
Yeah,
case.
like if you don't do anything wrong, what are you worried about?
Right,
That whole
exactly.
thing.
It is, and I just, I will reiterate, it has always and will always remain my opinion that backdoors make everybody less secure.
There's also a penalty for imprisonment for treason if you don't comply with the Investigatory Powers Act.
Talk about like who was in the room when they crafted that law,
So
right?
wait,
the
would
same
it be-
people as the
would it-
HP policy. Like
I don't know if it's for
what on
treason actually, but there is
probably
a
not treason.
possibility of imprisonment.
earth? Yeah.
So, but that would just be the head of the Apple UK. It wouldn't be like
Yeah, I don't know how that works, right? Would they go for Tim Cook? Yeah, I have no idea.
Right. This is a good place to start by Apple. I will be curious to know what they did next because they went all the way to the mattress in San Bernardino. Like they really did. They fought that for years.
Yeah. And
so-
they also stayed within the law. They went to court and they fought it in court, right? So
Which they
they
may
said,
do here
yeah,
as
we
well.
cannot comply, Mr.
You know
Judge.
they have lawyers trying to figure out how this is like unconstitutional. And, like this is not the end of this
Yeah.
by any means.
The other thing to consider is whether you just want to go turn this off or not. I talked to Nate Langston during the Daily Tech News Show briefing this morning about how he made that decision and why he's going to stay on iCloud, even though this has been removed. It was an interesting reasoning from him.
Well, definitely check that out because Nate has good thoughts about all sorts of things. But let's remind ourselves it is Friday.
Yay.
And that means Roger has another quiz to take us into the weekend.
Thank you, Roger.
What do you
now
have?
more
Yeah.
than ever.
Thank you. Please take us into the weekend. Since the weekend's not here, I'm just going to do the quiz. Secret messages are all around us in our history, in movies, TV shows, and stores. In this quiz, can you figure out which of these secret messages are enclosed within, or at least the history of it? First one, pop culture. In John Carpenter's They Live, protagonist Nada, played by former pro wrestler Roddy Piper, uses these to uncover the secret subliminal messages that these alien overlords have littered around all of humanity.
Oh, man, I don't know.
What
I
did
saw that
Nada
movie, too.
use to uncover the secret subliminal messages from the aliens?
Yes.
VR glasses,
Close. Very close, Molly. Very close.
Sunglasses.
AR glasses.
I was going to say sunglasses.
Sarah
Yeah.
got it.
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
I don't remember that movie at
Of course, I
all.
had
Well,
to
it
try
kind
to
of
It is-
walked me down that hall, and I just.
It is actually one of
Check
the
the glass.
best sort of critiques that political critiques that James Cameron ever did in the movie.
No,
And it
John
was
Carpenter.
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. Sorry. They're all
James Cameron did it too. Yeah.
No, James Cameron did it with a different movie.
I
All
think
those
Roger said it was John Carpenter earlier, so you might want to
He
check
did.
it.
He did. Yes. John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. But no, it's great. If you've never seen it, highly recommend. It's a fun movie. Also a very interesting look at mass media in the 80s. All right. Question 2. In World War II, the U.S. Marine Corps used code talkers from this Native American tribe in their island hopping campaign in the Pacific Theater to ensure operational security.
This
Navajo.
is killing Navajo. Yep. I was like,
All
I
right.
know this one.
Tom and
Yes.
Molly. Tom and Molly both got it. So this is very interesting because they were not the only ones, because the U.S. Army also used Comanche, Choctaw, Cherokee, Cree, Meskwani, and what was the last one?
Muskogee, Mohawk,
Assiniboine.
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 Yeah. With groups. And interestingly enough, other nations used similar techniques. The British used Welsh, and the Australians used Aboriginal
I mean,
language.
nobody knows Welsh to this day. That's
I
a
was
good
going to
one.
say, we have multiple Welsh people listening right now.
No, like
difficult
if
to
you send
understand.
coded messages, like something the Germans would not be able to decrypt or at least
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah, I guess it's a rarer language, so sure. Yeah.
Listen,
Not a lot
you
of
work with-
Welsh-speaking Germans back in the 40s.
Yeah, you work with what you got. All right, question 3.
Cornish might have been a better choice, I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what?
Question 3.
You can bring it up with the Imperial War Museum. Question 3. What hidden message is found in the popular ice cream chain Baskin-Robbins logo?
Number 21?
Noticed. 21. Yeah.
Has 21 flavors? I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
Well, it's 31 flavors.
Sarah
Is
got
it 31?
Right.
Sarah-
Oh,
Sarah-
It's
Sarah-
always
I was
been
gonna say
31
16.
flavors.
I got the flavors wrong.
Like,
but
do you
that,
see
but
it?
that
Oh,
was
it
the
is
number.
31.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
totally.
You said
I've never
31.
seen that logo. What?
I don't think I ever
31
have either.
flavors.
That's
And
so
do you know
funny.
why
Now
it's
you'll
31?
never
Like-
not see it.
When I was a child, we didn't call it Baskin Robbins. We called it 31 flavors.
31 flavors.
When I was
You
a
know-
child, they only had 21 flavors.
I had
Okay,
16.
Tom. Not everyone is 400 years old.
They hadn't
Okay.
invented all the flavors yet.
Do you know why it's 31 flavors?
And then some.
Because of a leap year? No, that wouldn't
Oh,
make sense.
Molly knows. What is that?
Molly knows. Molly knows.
I have no idea. I was just so
Oh.
excited about the Ani DeFranco reference.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for
so
catching
31
that.
because you
love
would
that
always
song.
have, depending on the month, I mean, 31
Okay,
maximum
you have
number
one
of
every
days,
day.
31 days. You'll have a different flavor for each day of the
that.
week.
Flavor for
Every
each day of the month. Oh, cool.
So
That's
a 31
clever.
month
Yeah.
is the fun month because you get
Yeah.
one more.
Yeah. What do
You
you
gotta
and,
go
and
every
in
day.
February
April.
you've got like boundless
No one
riches.
likes April.
Yeah.
The
Only
beach
March.
day,
February, yeah.
they do a
Just
beach
double
day
up.
ice cream that comes out in the summer. The best. Also baseball nut, also good. I don't know why I'm shilling for Baskin Robbins.
I got
Apologies,
Cheetos ice cream at a Baskin Robbins in Seoul.
What?
Oh,
Really?
wait,
That
was it
sounds
actual
amazing.
Cheetos?
What I want
It
it.
tasted like
ice cream.
cheesecake, kind of. It was really good.
Weird.
I'm in.
Weird.
There's a Baskin Robbins right down the street from me.
I like
haven't
savories.
I haven't been there
Some up
yet.
for us, would you?
I will.
I haven't been to a Baskin
Yeah,
Robbins
thanks.
since I was like a kid. Or
Everybody
something,
put in their
maybe?
order.
Sarah, there's just an empty bag here. It's like,
I'll
What
Venmo
happened?
you.
I'm telling you, I still, if someone was like, "Hey, do you want to go to 31 flavors?" I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's what we
That's
used to call it.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
all right.
one.
Question 4. In the mega blockbuster movie National Treasure, starring Nicolas Cage, what was purported to be uncovered on the back of the Declaration of Independence when sprayed with lemon juice?
Treasure map.
Molly,
Treasure map.
Molly
Yeah.
got it.
Just a
I
treasure
have
map.
no idea.
You guys, this movie
I have
is
not
so
seen this
underrated. Like
It is.
just so underrated.
It
And
is.
it's a
treasure
whole,
map
it's a
to
whole
what, though?
series of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's funny because it sort of came on around the same time as what's the one with the Pope and the church
Oh,
and the Michael.
Yeah.
Conclave.
Dan Brown. The
Yeah.
Angels
What is it
and
called?
Demons.
Sister Act?
No, the
Angels and
Da
Demons
Vinci
is the second
Code.
one. The Da
Da
Vinci,
Vinci
Code.
Code.
The
yes,
Da Vinci
yes.
Code. It came
All
around
right,
that same
Da Vinci
time, but
Code.
instead of being like super serious, it was like, it's
Yeah.
kind of goofball.
That's
Let's just
funny.
throw Nicolas Cage.
It was
in
the
there. It'll be fun.
Armageddon to Da Vinci Code's Deep Impact.
That's a very,
Nice.
that's a very good,
Nice,
that's an interesting,
actually, yeah.
very interesting analogy. I have
Dude, that
to use
movie's
that
awesome.
next time.
I won't hear
When
a
I
word
talk about
against it.
some life-threatening illness. Oh, this is more of a Armageddon
More of
than
a
a deep
Nicolas
impact.
Cage type illness.
Yeah.
You got your Ed Harris.
Yeah.
This movie's great.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun before everything hits the fan.
Or the ground, as it were in those movies. Question
ground.
5. The Zimmermann telegram was a secret diplomatic communication issued from the German Foreign Office to this Latin American country, promising several southern U.S. states in return for joining the Central Powers against the Allied powers in World War I.
What is
that country?
Argentina? Oh, sorry. I thought I was playing Jeopardy.
Yeah, Sarah says Argentina wrong.
Oh.
What's the question?
What was the Latin American country that was that the German
Which
foreign
country did they send the
country?
Zimmerman
Yes.
telegram
I want
to?
to say Mexico,
Brazil.
but I don't. Maybe Brazil. Yeah, Mexico's
Ooh,
not
Cuba.
Latin American, but it was
Molly-
right there. And they
Molly
could've gotten
got
some
it.
states.
Molly got it. It was Mexico.
It's Mexico.
Mexico.
Oh, well, that makes sense. The
Yeah, 'cause
southern
they were
U.S.
just like,
states would
we'll
join
give you back
Mexico
the
because
states.
they're right
Yeah,
there.
well, at the
Exactly.
time, the U.S. was making raids into Mexico to catch Pancho Villa, and that
All
was
the
for-
federales say they could have had him any day.
And
Right.
all
Tell the
federales
telegram, I guess.
say-
And Fuego today.
All of that.
All right, question 6. What hidden design element is found in the FedEx logo?
31.
An arrow.
Illuminati.
Len got it.
Oh,
If you look at it,
Illuminati.
where's the arrow? Where do you see the arrow?
There's
Between
no
the E and the
arrow
Like,
in there.
I've literally never thought about that.
It's
Oh, there
literally
it is.
between the
E and the X.
X
I see
is
it
the
now.
arrow.
I see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's also a circle in the D.
I think that's a 0.
Yeah, there's a
the-
0 in the D.
Okay, I see it.
That's
see it?
classic design
Well,
right
Yeah,
there.
that's classic. Yeah, no, Len knows classic design. A bit where you just like It's just not FedEx. It's FedEx Forward.
Yes.
That arrow's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Smooth.
Now you'll never look at it the same way again.
Nope. I'm
Yeah.
only
I
ever
mean,
going to
I
see
remember
Also-
the days where we called it Federal Express.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
And it absolutely
I know.
has to be
It was
there
a
overnight.
long time ago.
Wait a
That
minute.
might
You
be
were
positive has to
chastising
be
Tom for
overnight.
being in the Jurassic Age, and you're saying, it's fine.
Was she? I don't remember that.
I don't remember us
Don't
talking
try to
about
start
the
a
Jurassic
fight.
Age at
I wasn't
all.
there for that. I wasn't there for that at all.
All of you. This
I'm a
bus
lover,
isn't
not a
big enough
fighter.
for me. All right.
You should have used American Express. Wait, Federal Express? Federal Express?
Should have used People Express, and then
Yeah.
you could have been anywhere in the U.S. for $99.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, well,
Nope.
wait till somebody takes your stuff off your porch, and then where's FedEx now?
Yeah, where you at now?
Well, they completed
Yeah.
their contractual obligations, so SOL for you, I
They
guess.
just pointed at arrows.
DHL, UPS,
Very
or
SOL.
FedEx? Who's
Poor
the-
Roger's
what-
like, I want to move on. I cannot.
No,
No, it's
no,
listen.
not when we're talking
Somewhere,
about FedEx.
You just pointed an arrow right to my front
someplace,
porch for
someone
the thieves
has
to get there.
someone has a couple of cans of chili and 6 rat traps that they took off my porch. So,
Somebody
That's a party.
stole a bunch of hot sauce off my porch
Oh, so they-
yesterday.
so they could add the hot sauce to the chili and then play with the rat traps, I guess.
May not be the same person, though.
Yeah.
But they should
Turns
meet
out to
each
be
other.
the same
Maybe.
person. They just have a living room full. of-
I was
Maybe.
very interested in the chili, but okay, all right, I'm fine.
All right.
It's fine. I'm fine.
Question 7. Elizabeth Van Loo was a Southern abolitionist.
True.
Yes.
During the U.S. Civil War, she spied for the Union.
True.
And she
Who's
smuggled
Elizabeth Van Loo?
She smuggled secret messages in and out of Richmond, Virginia, including prisons, using these empty, hollowed-out food containers or foodstuffs.
Food items. Breakfast
Bread?
items.
Muffins.
Breakfast food item.
Oh,
Croissant.
breakfast food. Oh,
Empty, hollowed
blueberry
out
muffin.
breakfast food.
yeah, I like muffin.
Oh, croissants. Yeah,
Croissants
for
is
sure.
what I think.
Ah, yes. The great Southern croissants.
Touche.
Is that right or not?
Touche, bro.
No,
Apparently
no.
not.
Touche.
So
Biscuits?
No
Biscuit
biscuits.
out
They were not
breakfast
baked. They were not
Muff-
baked. I'll
muffin
give you that much.
tops.
They,
Oh,
they weren't. They
omelets.
weren't baked types.
Eggs.
Close. Yes, Molly got it. Molly got it.
Eggs.
Hollowed out eggs?
That's
Yes.
pretty good. Yeah, you could put a teeny little hole and you
Ha-
blow
Yeah.
the
I
egg out.
feel like
object, Your Honor.
how you make
omelets
fancy.
is probably
How
what
did she
was
get them in
doing.
there?
I feel
Hollowed
like I
out
should
made
get
me
at least
think
a slight point on that.
It was a solid, not a liquid.
So she put
It's
like
not.
little
She blew
papers
the
in
egg
there.
out.
Yeah,
You know,
she drilled, got a little hole, emptied out
Yeah.
the contents, and stuck it back in.
I would not call that hollowing something out.
Well, you're taking that.
That distracted
go.
me from the true nature. I object. I am lodging my complaint to the board, the board of quizzes.
I mean,
Take
it is
2
a
eggs and
hollow
call me.
shell.
Scramble
Once you
2
take-
eggs and call me in the morning.
Once you take the egg out of the eggshell, you do have a hollow shell.
But the egg
Okay.
is not going to be very delicious because the hole is,
But you don't hollow it out. You drain it.
But it's hollow.
You drain out a biscuit, but you haul it out egg.
Is it hollow? Like, it would be hard to make an egg yolk hollow.
The yolk is gone. The shell is what is hollow.
Yeah.
But, like, still, you have to, like, put air in? I don't know.
No, you're
Listen,
right. It's a
it
hollow
was
shell in
wartime.
the
She
end.
was a patriot and went really
I mean,
far to
listen,
get this done.
Ms.
thing
Van
is-
Loo knows more about eggs than me.
Yeah.
for
Elizabeth Van
sure.
Loo is like, I think you're missing the point, Tom.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, here's what happened, though, is freed slaves. So
But
maybe y'all
also,
can zip
yeah.
it.
Yeah. All right. Question 8. During the American Revolutionary War, the Culper spy ring was put together by Major Benjamin Talmadge and General George Washington. One of its members, Anna Strong, did this to relay signals to the courier that was leading messages in and out for the Revolutionary or the Continental Army while handling the laundry. What did she do?
semaphore. It was semaphore.
Interpretive dance.
I mean, Len, sort of close, but not really.
It is
Okay.
semaphore adjacent.
Yes.
Well,
She's
no,
doing
you
the
don't get it right.
laundry. What would you do with the laundry?
You
Yeah,
would
she would
fold
hang things out to
You
dry.
would fold things.
Molly got it. She hung
She would
out.
hang out like
She would
red
hang out a black
Okay.
pinafore for when the courier was coming, and then she would tag on additional linen items to it to disclose where the meeting place would be.
That's a complicated
smart.
answer.
That's so
Wow.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, I love that. I also like that book, Red Coats and Petticoats, that Joe just put up on the screen.
Yeah, that was the inspiration for Petticoat Junction.
That is the
Was it really?
No,
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, I didn't think that took
that
place
is
in the
that is the
Revolutionary
sequel
War.
to Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Was it really?
Plus, that's my little trivia. Yes,
Did the British wear petticoats?
yeah. And bed
I'm wearing
knobs.
one right now.
Are you?
You never know. You don't. See
Haven't
the
you ever
bottom.
noticed that you only see the upper half of Len and
Yeah, you
never
don't know.
what he's
You don't
wearing?
know.
I
I've
think
noticed
we
it's
can
not
all
even
say
asked.
that.
Yeah.
It's very
And
slimming, Len.
I
like
don't
it.
even want to talk about, bottom half of Sarah half the time because you guys don't know
We
anything.
no bottom Len,
You
just the
don't
top
know
Len.
anything. I like it
Blissful
when it's
ignorance.
like there never have been rails. Like it's not even like we're off them. There just never were any. That's my
Yeah.
favorite time of the show.
It's actually it's a rail
Rails?
C.
What's that? How do they work?
Never heard of them.
All right, last question. Question 9. What shape can you see in the logo for the Toblerone candy bar?
This
All
is a
around
trick
egg.
question.
Triangle.
Because you're going to
Wait.
say triangle because the Toblerone itself is a triangle. But
No, but the Toblerone candy bar logo. The
Yeah.
logo that's on the bar.
an
I
arrow.
don't know. And no Googling, everybody. No
An arrow in the
ChatGPT.
shape of the number 31.
Illuminati.
Wait, you said
Wait.
In the Toblerone logo.
Somebody got the.
Wait, somebody
the-
got
the
it.
Ding,
It was
ding.
Illuminati, wasn't it?
What shape?
Oh, not shape. There's an image in the logo that you'll see.
I don't
if you-
care. I say triangle, and I don't care.
Sorry. All right.
Elizabeth
what it
Van
is.
Loo.
All right.
Egg.
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 Egg. So Len
Petticoat.
Petticoat. Sarah, yeah. Okay.
Egg, comma, price
it's-
of.
It's a bear. If you look at it, because it's the side of
Really?
the Matterhorn. That's a
Now-
bear.
Now I'm
It's a
Googling
bear.
this. Toblerone.
And it's
because
because-
Oh, look
I
at
really
that.
like a Toblerone.
Yeah.
I have a Toblerone downstairs. I'm gonna have to go point that out to my family.
That looks like my dog.
It is. It represents the town of Bern in Switzerland, where the candy bar originated from.
That's great.
I
That's
think
awesome.
they call it Bairn.
Bern.
Bayern.
Yeah.
The Berenstain Toblerones.
Barrel.
That's
So-
so cool.
I don't
I-
see a
not that I
bear.
knew
I see
this.
a mountain.
It's
The
in
mountain
bears
is-
in the mountain. Put it up again.
Mountain would have been correct
Yeah, right there.
See,
because
then
that's in the logo.
ears,
But
go up to the
there's
ears.
also a little bear
That-
in the
oh,
mountain.
wow. Okay.
Isn't he
you know
so
what?
cute?
Right?
He's got a little bear belly.
First
Very
of all,
cool.
I need a
Need to eat
Toblerone
Toblerones.
immediately.
Yeah.
Second, okay, I see the bear, and that's very clever.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
great.
when you see the bunny in the moon. You could never unsee it. Have you ever noticed? There's a
Seen the bunny in the moon.
look.
No,
look-
I thought it
look
was
at the right
Swiss
thing, Tom.
cheese.
Look
that
this
you
up.
see in the moon.
Yeah. There's a
on.
man. We have the man in the moon, but there's also the bunny in the moon. You see like the ears, and it's like eating a bowl of noodles.
What? Now
Look up
everybody's
Bunny in
The,
the
the
moon.
sound of
Oh.
furious.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Astronomy class was
Whoa,
tough for
look at
me.
that.
I
Yeah.
just didn't. I don't know. I don't know if I look. I don't know.
I
if
have
I call
never
that
heard of
bunny.
That one on the upper right there, that is a really good illustration of it. You can see the
Yeah.
ears.
I mean, it's
I've
sort
never
of.
heard
It's
of it.
a little messed up.
Bunny,
It's a little Velveteen Rabbit.
in
I
vitro.
mean,
One of the
the man
top-
in the moon's also more
It's
messed
been
up.
well loved.
The top one, the very
It's a
last one
velveteen
on that
rabbit.
top one looks like
Just-
looks like a duck eating something. It looks like crazy duck.
It
Buddy
is
duck.
duckish.
Some Easter related animal.
Rail schmails.
Wow.
I say.
It's so much
Illuminati.
knowledge to impart here today. This is great.
Well, we've covered a
good-
lot
this
of
is a
ground
good
today.
Well
but-
done, Roger Chang.
Woohoo!
Good
Yay,
quiz.
Roger
Great
Everyone,
Chang.
Toblerone for everyone.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes. And Baskin
As
Robbins
always,
too.
a great Friday quiz. Before we get out of here, you send us lots of thoughts yourselves, and let's check out one of them from Tim.
Yeah, Tim wrote on our Patreon, I feel like you may have exposed a blind spot for me with Apple Music. Is there really a way to upload my own music of obscure bands and albums in such a way that it is accessible anywhere I log into Apple Music? I see ways I can upload my own music on a particular device and play it from there, but can I really upload it from my Windows machine and have it available on my iPhone in Apple Music too? Before I could get to him, I was like trying to find a good link. Tim followed up and said, I think I found something. It looks like the magic ingredient is to turn on Sync Library, which I had resisted in the past because I didn't want every single MP3 I had on an older system synced. But you can have it sync from a computer where I'm only telling it about the specific MP3s I want synced. The latter problem probably doesn't exist anymore, which was the write back problems way back during the iTunes Match Day. But yeah, Tim actually solved his own problem just by asking it. So thank you, Tim, for the question, and thank you for the solution as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize you can upload music. I do it all the time on my desktop. Like I was making a playlist for a birthday party, upload some music that's not in Apple Music, and I have it on my phone now.
Nice.
Good hack.
Yes,
hack.
Definitely.
very good hack. And remember, if you have a good hack that you want us to know about or anything we talk about, you have questions, comments, all the things, remember to send your comments into feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com.
Please do. And in those emails, tell me how much you love Len Peralta's art, because Len's been drawing today's show. You always draw the biggest story of the week. What did you draw for us this time?
Yeah, so the biggest story of the week, we didn't really talk about it. It's more tangential, but the big story is that Apple released the iPhone 16 and 16e, which is getting some heat because it's really large.
Yeah.
It's very big. And this is that image. Introducing the iPhone 16e. Yeah, we know it's huge. Deal with it. We're Apple. And this is also a cheap way to get my granddaughter on the phone.
First of all, that's a cute kid. That is a cute kid.
Yeah. He's
Second of
enjoying
all,
the-
I really hope that man can keep the phone up.
Yes, it says
I'm worried about
my
him.
granddaughter isn't even
Yeah.
even this big in real life.
I mean,
The
that
phone is
hilarious.
much larger than her. In any event, if you like this image, if you want to commemorate, or if you want a picture of my granddaughter, you can go to my Patreon, patreon.com/Len. Back me at the DTNS lover level. You get it immediately, or go the old-fashioned way. Go to my online store where you can purchase it and hang it up, and everybody's going to love you, and you can put it on your iPhone. Your new iPhone 16.
It'll make your iPhone look slimmer and
It will-
smaller.
yes,
Yeah.
that's my
Well,
hope.
not slimmer. Smaller.
I'm doing something for the peeps. Yep.
Well, Len, always working for the peeps. Molly Wood, you as well. Let folks know where they can keep up with your latest when you're not with us.
I implore all of you, because you are techie, I think that a lot of you will really like the series that I just wrapped up on Everybody in the Pool, which you can find wherever you podcast or at everybodyinthepool.com. I just did a 4-part series on AI and energy use, because it turns out my 2 lives are converging right before my very eyes. So I talked to the sustainability heads of NVIDIA and AWS. I talked to a founder of a fusion energy startup that wants to co-locate fusion energy power plants next to data centers, and then had this whole freaking fascinating conversation about how Microsoft years ago started a project to redesign data centers to actually make them be regenerative, because it turns out like cities and countries are just saying you can't build those things here unless you use fewer resources. It was one of the most interesting series
Yeah.
I've ever done. Loved
No, I 1,000% recommend you listen to this. I actually listened to it again, all 4 in a row, binging it because there's such good information. If you actually want to understand the issues, what the actual risks are, and what the solutions might be. Great stuff, Molly. Thank you for doing that.
You're the best. You're the best. I love
No,
it.
you're the best. During the shows, folks have been submitting titles for us over at dtns.showbot.tv. Our top vote getters, 3-way tie right now. Saray TW, ChatGPT operator, is standing by. Howard Yermish suggested phone tree, call me maybe.
Cute.
And then Saray again with Molly Wood, call center agent whisperer.
I also liked Howard Yermish's Dan Brown's The Laundry Code.
That is funny.
We have aggregating knowledge in this economy, also from Saray.
Big fan. Big
Yeah.
fan of that.
And
The size sums it up. It's that's very meta. It's very
Yes.
meta, Zoe.
Sarah, what did we go with?
Well, we went with is ChatGPT operator is standing by. That one comes from Saray TW, a frequent title submissioner, and we thank you for your service.
Thank you, Saray.
Nice job.
Also, thank you to everybody watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. Special thanks go out to the folks who subscribe to us on those platforms. Technomensch just resubscribed with Prime for the 23rd month. Howard Yermish himself back at Tier 1 for the 25th month. Kaylee Glendale cheered us with some bits. So did PC Milesy. We got some flags and bits from Technomensch. Thank you, man. C-Spawn cheered us with 200 bits. Zoe with bits. C-Spawn with bits again. PC Milesy again. There was a whole hype train going on. Thanks to everybody who supports us at Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Patreon. Don't forget, we have a show called Top 5. It's quick. It's a YouTube short. We also put it up on TikTok as well. And this week I count down the top 5 Apple fails. They are not the same Apple fails you may have always been thinking about. So check that out. We are at Daily Tech News Show on TikTok, Instagram, and youtube.com/Daily Tech News Show.
Reminder, you can watch our show live Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. That is 2100 UTC. And you can find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. We hope you all have a wonderful weekend. We're back on Monday with Justin Robert Young, bringing some knowledge. Hope to see you then.
This week's episodes of Daily Tech News Show Live were created by the following people. Producer and host Sarah Lane, host Tom Merritt, host Rob Dunwood, producer Roger Chang, video producer Joe Kuntz, producer at large Anthony Lemos, social media producer and moderator Zoe Dutterding. Our mods, Beatmaster, W. Scottus 1, BioCow, Captain Kipper, Steve Guadarrama, Paul Reese, Matthew J. Stevens, aka Gadget Virtuoso, and J.D. Galloway. Mod and video hosting by Dan Christensen. Music provided by Martin Bell and Dan Looters. Art by Len Peralta. Acast ad support from Tatiana Matias. Patreon support from Tom McNeil. And contributors to this week's show included Scott Johnson and Molly Wood. And thanks to all the patrons who make the show possible.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.